Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. For all the sensors out there, we always tell you we absolutely respect the community guidelines because the only thing at the New Health Conversation we talk about are peer-reviewed human trial medical studies that are in the public domain, meaning everybody can have them, they can see them, they can access. We've written 4 best-selling books with some of the top medical doctors in the world. We've been nutritional researchers for 23 years, so everything that we present is our original information. Just want to let you know that. Well, hello there, Keith. Hello, Austin. Hello, Daniel. Hello, user 915. Mama, user 669. Aleda. Who else? User 924. So we're going to go over briefly what in the world is this all about. She really lost 21 pounds and 38 inches in just 30 days. It's not a diet. It's not about exercise. It's not about counting calories. This is going to change everything that you ever thought about diet, exercise, and nutrition. What if everything you thought you knew about diet, exercise, and nutrition was wrong? I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books with some of the major medical doctors in the world. I've done 20 shows on PBS. I was interviewed on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America and did over 1,500 live lectures around the world at universities and hospitals and towns. They even flew me to China. Do you know for 22 of my 23 years, that meant 0 in the medical world? Why? Because there were no peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. I'm holding in my hand 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. This is the only weight loss health nutrition program in the world with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. It was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. It took them 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people to finally crack the code on obesity and overweight. This is a medical podcast. It is not an infomercial. It's live, just to let you know. But how many of you I'd like to ask everybody 2 questions. 1 question. To lose 20 pounds, how long would you give yourself on any diet you can select? And number 2, does anybody know the definition of a calorie? Because you're all counting calories. Any diet you're on up until now was about counting calories. And yet, I've had 7 people in a year actually get the technical definition of a calorie correct. But anyway, let's talk about what they did here. How many of you would be excited if you could lose 5 pounds a week with no exercise, lose no water weight, and gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise? Because that's exactly what they did, and it's proven. When did you send them an email? I'm just curious, Zabib. When did you send them an email? And are you sure? Did you put in your WhatsApp phone number? Are you in a foreign country? Because if you are, if you put your regular phone number in there, they will not. Last week, huh? And do you have a WhatsApp phone number in the UK? Huh? That's really something. Can you? I'll tell you what, go and fill out right there at the New Health Conversation, go fill it out again. I promise as soon as I get off this, I will personally go and make sure that you get followed up on, okay? I'm really sorry about that. And you do have, because again, even in the UK, you need to have a WhatsApp. It's free, WhatsApp phone number. Otherwise, they can't get you. I'm telling you, we know this already. So using your new, hello, sounds nice, great, okay. Let's see, who else? Yes. So yes, you have a WhatsApp phone number? Okay, so if you do, I have WhatsApp. Yes, okay. So please fill it out again, and I promise when we get off this, I'm going to go maybe about 30 minutes, and then I will personally go there and make sure you get followed up on, okay? And for the rest of you, who would like to ask me? Well, let me explain to you first about how in the world they did this. So, like I said, it was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world after 40 years, 100 studied, thousands of people, and here's what they concluded. Diets are miserable failures. And all that time, they never had any diet where people lost weight and kept it off. And the reason for that was that the whole premise behind diets about counting and reducing calories is totally flawed because the human body has no idea what a calorie even is. Why are you all counting calories? It makes no sense at all. So what the researchers did, they said, we need to come up with a new program where the researchers are going to pick the foods. There are no products here, no products. This is food. And so they put together a food list for her, 30% of what she consumed. Yes, Sam, you can ask me about losing weight. I'm explaining it right now. So Sam, let me finish, and then maybe you won't have a question. So what the researchers did, they picked out foods, the researchers did, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vegetables, and fruits that were based not on the amount of calories, but on the serving size and based on the amount of nutrition. See, the only thing that your body runs on, it doesn't run on calories. It doesn't know what a calorie is. Counting calories is the most ridiculous thing anybody ever come up with. And I'll show you the medical proof from Harvard Medical School, from Medicare, from the New England Journal of Medicine saying stop counting calories. It does not work long term. Now, that may shock some of you, I'm sure. So let's talk about what they did do. So they made a food list, only 30% of which you consumed in a month came from this grocery list you'd take to your grocery store. You buy directly from your grocery store, not from the researchers. But the other 70% came from these other researchers who had found foods in Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand that represented huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So those were the foods they were going to use, and then they put together a completely new way of consuming the food. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from around the world, excuse me, for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods from around the world. That's called protein pacing. Now, the pacing is really important to all of you. It wasn't just that she was getting lots of nutrition, it was when and how she was getting it over what period of time. And we teach you all that. The code, you can see it right above see them in blue there, that's the medical website. You can go and see all the proof behind what I'm sharing with you right now. This is not our research. Please be clear. We're talking about other people's research, but we're the researchers of the researchers. That's our job. So, excuse me, the pacing part was critical. Then 2 days a week, what they all did, including her, they did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, she ate them 8 times a day. She was basically eating every hour and a half or 2 hours. Now, again, when she ate was as important as what she was eating. And look at the results, everybody. So for the people in the UK, that's 10 kilos in a month. For everybody else, it's 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise allowed. And instead of losing any lean muscle, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle on this. Now, I know it's hard to believe for most of you that something like that even exists. But let me show you a couple of other questions. People. Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days, and look at the change in her body. You would think it's a different girl, woman. It's not. It's the same person. And she's kept it off for 8 or 9 years. All the pictures I'm showing you are from 8 or 9 years ago, and the people have kept the weight off, okay? So now let's take a look at another person. This is the daughter of a friend of mine. Where do you see this? She lost 60 pounds or 30 kilos in 3 months. And again, you can see the website right above her head, the New Health Conversation. That's where you can go and see the medical proof. If you go to that website, we won't contact you. We don't do that. We don't need to do it. We let you see the medical proof. Then you can sign up for free coaching. And the coaching's free the whole time, everybody, the whole time. They'll show you how to order what foods to order from the grocery store, and they'll show you how to order these exotic foods around the world, and then they'll teach you how to do this. It's completely free, and the main focus of this protocol is not that you can lose weight. The main focus is that you can keep the weight off for the rest of your life. That's why it's called Race to Maintenance, if that makes sense to everybody. So that really is the essence of what they did, how they did it, why they did it, etc. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense to all of you. Excuse me, I've had a long day today. So I'm going to close with this. I would invite all of you to go to the website, the New Health Conversation. We will not contact you if you go there. It's got all the information, more answers than I'm even giving you now. If you like what you see, then scroll down and get yourself a free coach, and you can change your life like she did and everybody else that's involved. The last picture I want to show you here is an older gentleman. He lost 40 pounds or 20 kilos in 30 days. That's 30 days, everybody, 40 pounds. But again, look at his blood work. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124. That's in 30 days with no exercise. Look at his stomach. Look at how much his stomach came in, everybody. Yeah, wow, I know, it's just amazing. So, Anyway, Sam, hopefully that answered your question. Sam, I'm going to put for you in the chat the website where you can go to. Hold on. Let me do this. That's not what I wanted. I clicked on the wrong thing. Oh, here we go. So, Sam, I'm typing in the website you can go to get the information. The new, and you can get a free coach if you go there. It'll show up right in your name here, hopefully, Sam, in a second. There you go. The New Health Conversation. That's the free website to go to. And for the, what is he using? He looks great. Kitty. Water fasting and weight training costs nothing. And it absolutely doesn't work, okay? Patrick, with all due respect, if you go more than 22 hours on a water fast, the only thing you're going to burn is your lean muscle mass. Okay, there's not one shred of evidence that would support the fact that on water fasting, beyond that, you do it. No water and weight training. No, sorry, you're wrong. You're just wrong because you can't show me one shred of medical evidence backing up what you're saying. So don't tell me you have a scientific paper or a study. I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've worked with some of the top medical doctors in the world. I've appeared 20 times on PBS, and I get all this all the time, with all due respect. Without a peer-reviewed human trial study, you're giving me an opinion. Your opinion means zero. I can tell you because my own opinion for 22 years meant zero. But now we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies that blow away any kind of fasting, any kind of weight training, any. The people in these studies weren't even allowed to exercise, Patrick. So that blows the hell out of your argument. He lost 40 pounds and 52 inches in 30 days. You're trying to tell me on a water fast or exercise you're going to get someone his age to lose 40 pounds? Good luck. It ain't happening. I mean, so you just... So I don't know where would you get that opinion, Patrick? I'm just really curious because there's no medical evidence to support it. So let's be clear, okay? Let's be really clear. The problem with even Medicare says Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The reviewers researchers looked at studies of long-term outcomes of all diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of people, dieters, regain more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that any diet led to lasting weight loss or health benefits. Another big study, why you should. See, what you're doing, you're having them count calories. They're getting no nutrition at all. So another big study, why you shouldn't count calories. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count and restrict calories gain back more weight than they lost. So if you have contrary proof, I'd love to see it. I love to see it. I'm a scientist, not a salesman. And when people make claims like that with no medical, maybe you have it. I'd love to see it. Because there's nothing on PubMed on any diet that has any support in the medical world. Okay? Kitty, she's okay, you're so right. Thank you, Kitty. I'm glad. Okay, so let me explain to you what he's doing, okay? And why any argument beyond the researchers who did this did water fast. They're the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. That, listen to everyone. They've worked with Navy SEALs and Green Berets and Olympians and powerlifters and CrossFit people and marathoners and triathletes. They're the top people in the world. They invented this, and they said all diets after 40 years, including water fasting, lifting, running, whatever it was, nothing ever worked long term. They invented this, and it was based on one principle. The principle was the only thing the body cares about is nutrition. We have a minimum amount of nutrition that we need. So put someone on a water fast. Within 22 hours, they're completely out of nutrition, and the body, to survive, turns to muscles for fuel, slowing down metabolism and slowing down our own immune system. This stuff is nuts that people think that this stuff, I'm just going to let it pass. No, it ain't passing. So what they did, they went and found new food groups that weren't based on the amount of food. They were based on the amount of nutrition. So 30% of what she consumed came from the grocery store. She got a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables, and didn't give her calorie counts. They gave her serving sizes, right? Then 70, and see, here's what wouldn't work on this argument about water fasting. They found other researchers who'd gone around the world to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, where people were literally living to be over 100 years old because the food they consumed had huge amounts of nutrition. Not less nutrition, like on a water fast. Now you got less nutrition. You think your body's going to thrive on less fuel? That's nuts. It's crazy. Crazy talk. And they produce results that no one's ever seen before. I mean, come on. You trying to tell me you're going to put someone on a water fast and they're going to lose 40 pounds in a month and gain 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise at all? No exercise? Really? Really? No, it ain't happening. But look at, he's an older, look at his blood work, 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242 to 124 in 30 days. So this is going to, it makes every diet obsolete. Water fasting, what? Now, I know people do it for religious reasons. Go ahead. But understand you're losing lean muscle. Up to 40% of any of the weight you'd lose on water fasting is lean muscle mass. Not my opinion. The medical proof. We only deal in medical reality. We don't give it hyperboles and opinions and all this stuff. All I know is Johns Hopkins Medical School is now saying, with all these diets and all these approaches and all this hot air, which it is, because nobody has any proof. Well, here's one right here. This is just on time-restricted eating fasting, where people didn't eat for 16 hours and they ate in an 8-hour window. They're not even doing a water fast. Oh, wait till this. This is the Journal of the American Medical Association. Everybody, a 3-month study on this time-restricted eating, which is total horse manure also. They said, our research found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours daily over 3 months gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of 3 months, they lost an average of 2 to 3.5 pounds. And most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. Now you're going to tell me you're going to put someone on a water fast, they're getting no nutrition and they're not going to lose lean muscle? Ooh, what planet is that coming from? It's just silly. It's silly. Why would you even say something like that? There's no possible way. If you restrict the nutrition to that point, the body shuts down any access to the fuel in fat cells and turns to our muscles for fuel. End of the story. No more discussion. Craziness. Craziness. Huh. Madison, I went through it. We are Orthodox Christian. We fast for 55 days, 1 meal a day, and everyone loses weight. Of course you do. I didn't say don't do it. I'm just telling you what the impact is. So, Madison. Is it Madison? Okay, let me explain to you. Calm down now. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get so upset. So what they did, Madison, was they had done, the people who invented this, they're rated the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They'd done 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people looking at every kind of diet out there. And what they found was that on every diet, people lost weight initially. But 2/3 of all the people in all the diets in 40 years ended up weighing more than when they started. And the fallacy was that people were counting calories. But Madison, the problem with that is the human body has no idea what a calorie is. As a matter of fact, I'd ask you or anybody else, with all due respect, give me the definition of a calorie. I've had 7 people get the medical definition of a calorie correct in a year, okay? So what the researchers did, they said because there are no products here. They didn't invent a product. They don't have a company. They were scientists. And they said, we think the key would be, can we figure out a way to find foods with more nutrition? Therefore, if we give them less, they're not getting less nutrition. So they put together a grocery list, let's call it a grocery list, that she got. She took it to the grocery store. It had proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But it didn't have calorie counts. It had serving sizes, but only 30% of what she consumed. The other 70% came from other researchers who had gone around the world, Madison, for 20 years and gone to places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So now they had the elements that they were going to give to people, but they invented 2 complete new ways of eating. 5 days a week, Madison, she had 4 meals a day. She started with the exotic foods from around the world for breakfast. You can't buy them in your grocery store, so don't think you can. Because the 30% of your bin, that's all organic. You're going to go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or Sprouts or wherever and buy those foods, or wherever else you are in the world. You go to the grocery store, here's your regular food. But these foods, you're not buying them. You buy them directly from those suppliers who went and got them for over 20 years. So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, starting with the exotic food for breakfast, a lunch from the grocery list, a dinner from the grocery list, and a fourth meal after dinner. And it was called protein pacing. Very important, the word pacing, Madison. So what they proved, it wasn't just how much nutrition they were giving them, but when they were giving it, over what period. They called it eating patterns, and they called it nourishment, not eating. That's what they termed it to be. You learn all that. You get taught exactly what she did. Then 2 days a week, she did something. Now, this will freak everybody out based on what I was just saying. They did intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. In those days, no food from the grocery store, but these exotic foods around the world. This time, she ate them 8 times a day. So she was fasting with nutrition 8 times a day. No one got hungry. There were people that weighed 400 pounds. They weren't hungry. No one, the diabetics, no one had insulin spikes. And and by the way, at the end of the 30 days, in all cases, they measured water and they also measured lean muscle. No water weight was lost. And instead of losing any lean muscle, which is the case on all these other diets we've talked about, they gained 6 to 9% lean muscle, and no one was allowed to exercise. Not that the researchers were against exercise, but they didn't want exercise to be an outlier. In other words, we'd say, oh, they lost weight because it was diet and exercise, like someone was suggesting, oh, water fast and lift weights. No, there's no evidence that that works, okay? Now, the key to this whole thing, Madison, is maintenance. That picture's 8 or 9 years old. She's kept the weight off for 8 or 9 years. Madison, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. Now, let me show you a couple more pictures, Madison, just to show you how powerful this is. Look at Julie. She lost 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at the change in her body. Now, you can think we're lying. You can think we photoshopped it. You can think AI, but we didn't. Why would we do that when you can look right there at the New Health Conversation and see the medical proof exactly proving what I'm saying? Nobody else has this. Nobody else has peer-reviewed human trial studies. They just don't have them. We have opinions. I see people coming on here all the time that want to challenge me, and they give me opinions, but they don't have any facts. They have opinions, but those don't matter, right? And then this is, I know you're probably going to think this is a different woman, but this is the daughter of a friend of mine. I'm not photoshopping his daughter's 60 pounds in 3 months, Madison. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach with no exercise. That's with no exercise. And like I said, again, the researchers want to get exercise, but you can exercise, but we want to explain to you how to do it, when to do it, how much to do, etc. It says right there in black and white, free coaching. It's free coaching. There's no charge for coaching. The only thing you're buying is food that you have to eat anyway. You're buying a month's worth of food at least to get started. See, we don't know anything about you, Madison. We have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with a kidney transplant. We have all kinds of people with no gallbladders. And we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, or preventing any diseases. All we're doing is sharing with you what's in the medical studies. Now, as dramatic as some of these are, the next picture I'm going to show Madison and everybody, they will think it's Photoshop. This gentleman, about 350 pounds. This was 50 days, so let's say 7 weeks. Look at this. He lost 75 pounds, 64 inches. His blood pressure, maybe you can read it, went from 149/81 to 103/64 in 50 days with no exercise. 75 pounds. Has anyone ever seen anything like that ever? Look, this protocol is making every diet obsolete for the people that actually know about it and do it. We've created this movement called the New Health Conversation. Madison, we have a new projection from Johns Hopkins Medical School. I have it here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Let me read to you from the study, Madison. I don't make up things. I don't give people opinions. That's why I get so upset when people come on and give me an opinion. They don't have any medical facts. It's just, I fought that for 22 of my 23 years. I understand what it's like, but I got excoriated because we didn't have medical studies. Johns Hopkins Medical School, Madison. Study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans will be overweight or obese by 2030. Does that sound to you like any diet you're on, thinking about, we're on, will be on, is going to work long term? Because all the studies say there's no way. I mean, like I said, the Medicare study is the most damning. Huge study by Medicare. They're trying to bring healthcare costs down, right? So Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments, diets are not the answer. The Medicare researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets and diets in general to assess whether any diet is an effective treatment for obesity. The study showed that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. It's as if we've gone back 550 years in time. Go to Barnes and Noble, go to the beach tomorrow, or go to a lake and look at America. Look what's happening to us. This is tragedy. And what do we keep doing? Counting calories, calories in, calories out, diet and exercise, 10,000 steps, make a list, drink more water, lift weights, do whatever. None of it's working. This is going to change the world. This is going to make every diet. Oh, Bear! Oh, my grandson's on. Wow. Hey, Bear. Awesome. I just saw that. Whoa, that's wonderful, Bear. Oh my gosh, my wonderful grandson is on here today. That is so cool. So 389, ready, go. Are you asking a question or I'm not sure what you're saying. Ann says, hello, what's the name? Ann, there are no products. Ann, it's food. Ann, it's food, okay? The coaches will give you the grocery list from the grocery store and show you how to order directly the foods that you would use as part of this. Does that make sense to you, Ann? There are no products. There's no product. Don't please get that out of your head. It's a combination of 30% of the food, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits that you buy at the grocery store. You get the list of that, and then these other exotic foods. You're going to spend about whatever you spent last month total on food, and you're going to spend about the same on this. But Ann, look at the results. Are you trying to tell me you've got any diet that would ever equal this? Do you ever provide examples of what is eaten during the 5 days and 2 days? Also, how much is the member? There's no member, Danny. No membership. You're not joining anything. It's free. Danny, the only thing I can tell you is that I already shared some of it with you, right? So the regular food, what you would consider regular food at your grocery store, that's why I'm saying that, is proteins, fats, carbs. Well, like proteins, all different kinds of proteins. But the carbohydrates, for example, are very specific, complex carbohydrates. So it's all laid out. As a matter of fact, you actually get, I should have showed all this to you, Ann and everybody else, you actually get, the researchers developed this called the Blueprint for Success. And each one of these yellows here are daily videos from the researchers, not from us, explaining to you what you're doing, why you're doing it, and to answer your question. See there it says recommended food list and also your daily schedule. And then you see these little squares. Those are daily videos from the researchers telling you this is safe, this is why you're doing it, etc. It's a little bit complicated, but you're getting a free coach. So Danny, the coaching's 100% free. There's nothing to join, everybody. There's no joining. There's no membership. No. The New Health Conversation is a free movement that everybody can be part of, but you don't have to join anything. The reason we're providing that, Danny, is for you to be able to go there and see the medical proof. Let me type it in the message below your name again. The New Health Conversation. Hold on, I got to spell it right, Danny. Sorry about that. You can see it right there, Danny. The New Health Did I spell it right? New Health Conversation. I did spell it right. Okay. So why are you showing two different women wearing the same outfit? Isn't that funny, Nicole? This is the daughter of a friend of mine. That's the whole point. I know her. She's a friend of the family. So no, I love it that you said that. That's how dramatic the weight loss is. So it's not the same. It is the same woman, just like this is the same woman. 21 pounds, 38 inches in a month. Or Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days. No, there's no photoshopping going on. There's no deception. There's no tricks. This is the only protocol in the world with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. Does that make sense, Nicole? Was it Nicole that said that? What do I think about carnivore? We actually have a carnivore version, but the problem with carnivore is you need more than just meat. Sorry to tell you that. You just do. But again, they can go over that. And yeah, it's obvious, same woman. Well, are you talking about this one, Ann, just to back me up? That's the same woman. Just because, look, I understand this looks like science fiction, or why in the world would you think that we have to lie to you? Why would we have to Photoshop or do AI when you can go and see irrefutable medical proof back in everything I'm saying? I support your skepticism, but you proved my point. You actually think it's a different woman. It's not. She's my friend. This is my friend's daughter. What, I'm gonna Photoshop his daughter? I don't think so. So, Anne, is that amazing? Her before and after picture, though, isn't that just crazy, crazy good? Oh, and Marie, I said about carnivore. So what we do with carnivore is we incorporate, we have carnivore coaches, believe it or not, but they don't do the traditional carnivore where you're having no carbs and no fats. That is just ridiculous because meat will not provide you with the broad spectrum of nutrients that you need to optimize your health. Like I said, we're big fans of carnivore, but not the way you're probably doing it right now. But go talk to a coach. It's free. You understand that the coaching's free, including asking questions like that. So, Ann, we're agreeing that now, Ann, you're clear that right above her head in blue there, the new health conversation, that's where you can go. So what did they do? Defee mama. Okay, let me explain that to you. I'm sorry, I didn't see your message. So let's go back to the beginning for the people that are coming on and want to know how in the world did they do this. First of all, it was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world for the new people coming on. I don't want to bore the old people, but I need to bring people up to speed. They had done 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people looking at every diet out there, and finally came to the conclusion they never found a diet in 40 years where people didn't, well, 2/3 of people gained all their weight back, and they never found anyone where anyone ever kept the weight off long term. So they said the problem with diets was really simple. Our body runs not on calories, to give you an idea, mama. It only runs on one principle, and that's a minimum amount, not of calories, because your body has no idea what a calorie is. It only runs on nutrition. When you go on a diet, what do? You reduce the amount of food, but you're also reducing what? Nutrition. When the brain figures out there isn't enough nutrition, it fires up the starvation mode, stops you from burning the fat in your fat cells, and turns to your muscles for fuel. That results in eventually your body slowing down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on these diets. That's why you come off these diets and you gain everything back, because you've compromised your own immune system, but not your metabolism, and you've compromised your own immune system. You've made your immune system less vibrant by losing lean muscle mass, okay? So the researchers said, we got to come up with something new. There's no products involved here, everybody. No products. It's food. So 30% of the food she consumed, she got a list that the researchers developed, not us. We have nothing to do with that. There were proteins, there were fats, there were carbs, there were fruits and vegetables. But instead of giving her calorie amounts, they gave her serving sizes. Does that make sense to everybody? Very important, serving sizes, not calories. Because the researchers, what they wanted to see was they wanted to give her food with more nutrition, but not more quantity of food. So 30% of what she consumed came from the grocery store, organic, the list that you would get. The other 70% came from these exotic foods from around the world, from places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand, that represented large amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. And many of these areas that people were living to be 100 years old or longer and didn't even get sick. So now the researchers had the food groups. But now what they needed was a new way of using these foods, and they invented 2 new ways of eating. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods from around the world. That's called protein pacing. Notice the word pacing, everybody. What that meant was the researchers, they figured it out. It wasn't just about giving her like 2 meals a day and lots of nutrition. It was spreading that nutrition out over about 10 or 12 hours. So that was, the timing was really critical. For 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, she did something called, listen to me, intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted. In those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time they let her eat 8 times a day. She was eating about every hour and a half to 2 hours. Nobody was hungry because it wasn't based on calories. See, if you base everything on calories, your body has no idea what a calorie even is. It's not about calories. It's about how much nutrition you can put in your body, because your body is only satisfied with nutrition. It's not ever satisfied with calories. That's what the big problem is. That's why none of these diets work long term. Heck, I wrote the best-selling book back in 2010 called Why Diets Are Failing Us with a very prominent medical doctor. It was a huge bestseller. We had a lot of pushback because people said, well, of course the only way to lose weight is calories in, calories out. Really? Really? You think any calorie in, calorie out has ever produced a result like you're looking at there on your screen? Oh, good. Shred it, fuel. Shred it off, keep it off. Ah, that's great. I think I know who that is. So, Freddie, did that answer your question? Let's see, who else was asking me? So the key to this is completely opposite of everything you've ever been told, any of you. It has nothing to do with counting calories. Again, I've been doing this, well, for a year. I've been doing this, 23 years, 1,500 live lectures. I've been in hospitals, okay? I've been in universities. And I've challenged people and I've said, even doctors, I said, okay, you're all telling people to count calories to lose weight. Give me the definition of a calorie. In all the settings I ever was in, I never had one doctor tell me what the definition, they didn't know what a calorie was. I didn't know what calories were 23 years ago either. So far, I've had in a year on my live podcast, thousands of people, I've had 7 people give me the definition of a calorie. Does anybody know? Can you put it in the chat? Name some foods, okay? Well, were you not around? We're talking about proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables from your grocery store. These other foods would be things like adaptogens. It's not a food, it's a nutrient, okay? It comes from Mongolia. It lowers stress in your body. Another one is called shilajit. It comes from the Himalayas. It massively lowers inflammation in your body. So food that you'd be used to, that would be about 30% of what you would eat. The other 70% was more like, well, they were either a soup or a tea or things like that, because that's how the natives, that's how they consume this. But you have to understand the researchers were looking for massive amounts of nutrition, not looking for not quantity of food. They were looking for quantity of nutrition, if that makes sense. Instead of giving you an example of a food, let me tell you just one of the things that you're the most deficient in this country, even if you do organic, and that are what's called trace ionic minerals. Now, you've heard of iron, calcium, magnesium, but that doesn't mean anything. When we're talking about trace ionic minerals, we're talking about things like gold and silver and zinc and beryllium and boron and selenium and molybdenum. You need 70, and in the best organic you can find, you get 20. So the problem becomes just being honest. I don't care how much you would eat, you still get the same 20. The other 50 don't exist. So the researchers found sources that had all 70 minerals. I'll give you another example. One of the things we all need, obviously, are vitamins. But vitamins, you typically get them in a capsule form. It's made in a laboratory. They found foods with all 22 naturally occurring vitamins, nothing synthetic, from these exotic foods from around the world that existed in the soil where it was grown. Those are just 2 examples. Now there's a lot more. But again, I would encourage you, show some love. Tap your screen. Oh, somebody's asking me to show some love and tap the screen. So just being honest, does that make sense? And you get a free coach. If you go to the New Health Conversation, it's 100% free, and we will not contact you. Not that we're not interested, but we don't want you to feel like you're going there and someone's going to try and sell you something. Our coaches don't sell anything. They have nothing for sale. There's no product. It's food. So the money you're spending is either at the grocery store from these exotic foods. By the way, those, for all of you, including just being honest, that 70% of the food you're buying from those other researchers, they give you a 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days. It's right on the website. When you scroll down to get a coach, if you want a coach, it says 100% money back guarantee. So 30%, your grocery store, you're not going to get a refund from them. But they'll give you all your money back if it doesn't work. Now, nothing's 100%. It wouldn't be that dumb to say anything like that. You get free coaching, and it's 100% money back guarantee on 70% of what you're going to spend in a month, because you have to eat. This is food, everybody. Food. It's not a product. It's not lotions, potions, pills, capsules, shots, nothing like that. I know it sounds too good to be true, and I know I make a lot of people mad. But all I'm doing, I don't know why people get mad at me, because really what they're getting mad at is the science. because we only rely on medical proof. Nothing I've shared with you is my opinion. And then to top that off, these two women on the cover of Women's World magazine, the #1 women's magazine in the world. I coach both these women. The daughter's 57, lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom's 80, she lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both kept it off for 3 years. Pretty cool, huh? And look, the magazine did all the headlines, over 50 protein miracle. But in addition, they wrote, it's a news story for them. It's a huge news story because so many, let me find it here for you. I'm going to show it to you. So you don't think I'm making things up. So here's the inside article. And you can, I think it's pretty much sold out. It was June 9th issue. So about 10 days ago. Yeah, 11 days ago. And as far as I know, it's sold out on most of the stands, but I think you can buy it online. But this is what we're taught. That's what they did. They did this protocol. Can we get some more taps and get some more likes going? Come on, everybody, please. How do we get, I don't know what you said. Shijuto. How do I get Shijito? I have no idea what you're talking about. Miriam, the thing to do if you're interested in this, go to that website in blue right above her head. See, it's the new health conversation. It's free to go there, and the coaches will answer any and all of your questions. Because honestly, we don't know anything about you. You have to understand, Miriam, we have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old who's actually the sister of the woman that I coached. It's her older sister who's 91, who's been on this protocol. And she's now doing taekwondo at 91 years of age. It's not a diet. It doesn't, I know weight loss is really exciting, but it's all the other benefits that people are getting by doing this, including detoxification. I didn't even get a chance to explain all that to you. So let's talk about this new medical system that I have and you have, every person on the planet, called TDOS. That no diet, whether it's water fasting, intermittent, none have ever been shown to deal with this. T is for toxins. D is for deficiency. O is for being overweight. S is for stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. Peter Greenlaw, who's that? Oh, I guess that's me. I discovered it. What does it mean? It means that we're drinking, breathing, eating chemicals. And as they enter our body, the body's taking that chemical and stuffing inside your visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. In these studies, they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, proving that this was removing the chemicals from the body. Evidence, look at day 1, look at her stomach, look at the swelling, and then look on day 30, a flat, that's with no exercise. Because this is a detox. We almost joke and say the weight loss, it's like the booby prize, that's the throw-in. The health benefits of this are way beyond the weight loss, although obviously you're going to be very excited about the weight loss. Also, interesting, this is about the least amount of weight loss we see. She only had like 35 pounds to lose, and she lost 5 pounds a week. But when you look at someone like Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at the change in her body composition. You think that's Photoshop? You think it's a different woman? You think we're lying to you? We're not. Or my friend's daughter, April, 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her midsection, right? It's all about giving you maximum amounts of nutrition in less food. That's really kind of, at the end of the day, that's really almost the definition of it. But the point is that the weight loss miracle in Women's World magazine, do you really think you get on the cover of that if this was some kind of a scam? I didn't even invent this stuff. I'm not telling you that. It's not my discovery. We're sharing the discovery with you and the rest of the world. So who else would like to ask a question? So Miriam, if you're asking about the Shilajit, you can go to the New Health Conversation, look at the medical proof, and then get a coach, and they'll explain all of that. But it's way more than just the Shilajit. That's only part of it. It's one of 6 of the things you'd be consuming. And along with 30% of the food would come from your grocery store: fats, proteins, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. Got it? So who else would like to ask me a question before we close this down? So Danny, are you clear on where to go? Danny, give me a yes that you're clear on where to go. Right there, I wrote it for you, the new health conversation. See the medical proof. If you like what you see, scroll down and you get a coach. The coaching is free, everybody. You're buying food. You are spending money on food. But aren't you going to eat next month? What is the discovery you talk about? Okay, I'm going to explain it to you right now. Okay, the discovery, first of all, who invented it? Who found it? Just a quick, I will, real fast, I promise, CBM. But I need to spend a little bit of time. How do I join? Mary, you go right above her head in blue. Do you see that? Mary, give me a yes, the new health conversation. But let me deal with CBM. So CBM, this was invented by, they're rated the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world for 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people. They prove that diets don't work. Calorie counting is dead and finished. So they invented, and there are no products, CBM, it's food. They put together, now here's why they did what they did. They said the problem with diets is people relying on counting calories, and the human body has no idea what a calorie is. The only thing the body cares about is a minimum amount of nutrition. So in all the diets you've been on, you go on, whatever, you lower the amount of food. At the end of the day, you're eating less food, but you're also getting less nutrition. When that happens, the brain figures you're starving to death, shuts down your ability to get energy from your fat cells, and turns your muscles into fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why people plateau. They come off the diets, they get everything back. So the researchers said, we're going to find foods with higher levels of nutrition and still lower quantities of food by bulk, by mass. So they put together a grocery list for her, but only 30% of what she consumed in a month on this came from the grocery store. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie amount, CBM, they gave her serving sizes. Very important, because what was the goal? The goal was we wanted to give more nutrition, but yet still have less food. But here was the key. 70% of what she consumed did not come from the United States, did not come from the grocery store. It came from other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. So then they had the foods, and then they invented 2 new ways for her to consume. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods for breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner, 3rd meal of the day with the family for dinner, grocery list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods around the world. And it was called protein pacing. Notice the word pacing. Why was that important? Because the researchers proved that it wasn't just about giving her the nutrition, it was how you spread it out over the course of like 12 hours. You'd learn all that for free. We teach you all of that. Now, 2 days a week, she did something that would sound controversial. She did intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted. On those days, no food at all from the grocery store list that you have. Only these exotic foods around the world, but this time she ate them 8 times a day. And look at the results. That picture, by the way, is 8 or 9 years old. It's called R2, the program's called R2M. That's what the researchers call it, race to maintenance. Because the key is for us to teach you how to keep the weight off for the rest of your life. That is the key. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, CBM, 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. I know for all of you, including you, CBM, it sounds like it's too good to be true. That's why we've provided a free medical website right there in blue above her head. Can you see it, CBM? The new health conversation. It's free to go there. If any of you go there, we will not contact you. Absolutely, we will not contact you. Why? Because we don't want you to feel like because we're not trying to sell you or convince you of anything. But if you like what you see, you can scroll down and you notice free coaching. It's free coaching. Now, something I didn't even tell you, CBM. So 70% of what you'd buy, the foods from the exotic foods, they'll give you 100% of your money back in the first 30 days. If for any reason it doesn't work, you're unhappy, it doesn't matter. Does that make sense? So CBM, that's about as fast as I could go. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And Bally, how to order. Go to the new health. See where it says Bally? Give me a yes. The new health, and CBM, you see that too, you're saying it. But everybody, go to the new health conversation. And CBM and Bally, let me swear, my grandson is actually on here. So on his, and I got 3 granddaughters. I'm sorry, I got 2 grandsons and 2 granddaughters. We're not going to contact you if you go there. We will not contact you. We want you to be comfortable that you can go at your own leisure and look at the medical proof. I don't want you to believe me. It's not my research. I'm bringing you I'm called the researcher of the researchers, bringing you the research. Does that make sense? So for any of you, go to the New Health Conversation, and see the medical proof. And then if you like what you see, scroll down and you get a free coach. Listen, we got kids as young as 2 doing this. 2. We have a lady 91 years old. We have a man. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with a kidney transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. And we're not treating, curing, preventing, or diagnosing any diseases. We're not doing that. No, we're not. But what we are showing you is what's in these medical studies, which you'll see if you go to the website. They're there, including CBM, an interview with the #1 rated nutrition weight loss physiologist in the world. He's worked with Green Berets and Navy SEALs and NFL football players. He's world famous, the top person. And you know what he says in the interview, in the podcast? His research, they'll never recommend traditional diets to anybody again. They said it literally would be unethical. Because they proved in every diet, 25 to 40% of what you've ever lost CBM on a diet was lean muscle mass, which slowed down not just slowing down your metabolism, slowing down your immune system. We're making ourselves unhealthy by going in these diets, by calories in, calories out, all this nonsense, which means nothing. The human body has no idea what a calorie even is. So, Bailey, does that make sense? Yes, CBM. Hopefully you understood that. Does that make sense? I did it about as fast as I could do it. So who else is asking me? I have a coach. We do the carnivore diet. No one said you can't do the carnivore diet. We modify it, make it better. Who else would like to ask me a question? Anybody? It's been a long day for me. I started at my first live today. I did it at 5:30 a.m. Denver time. I live in Denver, Colorado. So so now I'm already approaching 12 hours, well, 10 hours. I got 10 hours in so far. But it's mostly my voice, because tomorrow I'll probably start around noon Eastern Standard Time, and then I'll probably do one every couple hours, okay? New coming in, what is this about? Chris, comment. How excited would you be if you could lose 21 pounds in 30 days with no exercise, has nothing to do with counting calories, and it's not a diet? Please put it in the chat, and then I promise I'll explain to you exactly how it's possible. But I'm curious, how excited would you be if you could lose 21 pounds in 30 days with no exercise? None. Elegance Beauty Salon, me. You want to do that too, me? Elegance Beauty Salon, is that what you're saying? All right, so Chris and me, I would love, you're all coming out of the woodwork. Okay, all right, ladies, you're overwhelming me. It's something we can buy here in the U.S. No, CBM, no. Well, it's shipped from the United States from these suppliers. Again, the coach will go over all that with you, okay? All right, so all of you that are jumping on me, okay, now be patient. My only rule is please be patient. If you want to know how to lose 5 pounds a week or more, for example, let me show you all Julie. How about 35 pounds in 37 days? Look at that. That's 7 pounds a week. Okay, do I have all your attention now? Okay, now just bear with me. We're going to talk about how this came about. It was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They had done over 100 studies over 40 years looking at almost every diet out there. And now they didn't invent the diets. They were the researchers analyzing them. And what they found is that no diet ever worked long term. And 2/3 of all the people on all the diets gained more weight than they lost. Now, why was this happening? That's how they invented this. And there's no products. They don't have any products. It's based on food. So the very first principle they said was, diets can't work by counting calories because the human body has no idea what a calorie is. Remember, they were just following keto, paleo, Mediterranean, what these diets were doing, which was telling people to count calories, basically, calories in, calories out. So they said the fallacy with that is the body only runs on one principle, and that is nutrition, but a minimum amount of nutrition. So when you go on a diet, any of you ladies or men, what are you really doing? You're reducing the amount of food. Hopefully follow me. Give me some yeses. You reduce the amount of food you're consuming. Well, what else are you reducing? Nutrition. When your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, because the body, we're alive because of nutrition, not because of calories. So when the brain senses not enough fuel to run everything, it panics, goes in starvation mode, and stops you from using the fat in your energy in the fat cell, and turns to your muscles for fuel. Do you know most women on this was a whole dress size in 7 days? Did you know that? You will now. So what they did, they said, wait a minute. If you're going to lose lean muscle mass, you're going to slow down your metabolism. That's why people were gaining 2/3 of them weighed more than when they started, because they lost lean muscle mass and they slowed down their metabolism. So all of you are making yourself unhealthy by going on these calorie counting diets. So here's what they did. The researchers, who have no products to sell, but they put together this protocol based on what? 30% of what she consumed or what you'd consume, you'd buy from the grocery store. You'd get a grocery list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits and vegetables. Okay, you'd actually get a physical list that you would physically take to the grocery store. Let me do something real quick here. I'm going along. Okay, there we go. That you take to the grocery store: proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of calorie counting, you'd get serving sizes. Please give me a yes if that makes sense. That was very important, because what they wanted to give you was maximum amounts of nutrition in the foods they picked, but not massive quantities of food. Notice that's only 30% of what about the other 70%? Aha. The other 70% came from other researchers who for 20 years had gone around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with large amounts of nutrition but small quantities, because the researchers believed that our food in North America was going to become almost nutritionally bankrupt, which it almost is. I'll give you an example of spinach. From a head of spinach from 1953 to 2020, the iron levels, Cornell University did this study saying that the iron levels in spinach in that from 1953 to 2020 have decreased, you ready for this, everybody, by 4,300%. So even if you think you're eating great, organic, etc., our food is becoming more and more almost nutritionally bankrupt. So that's why they went to these other resources who had gone around the world to find these foods that were loaded with nutrition. So now they had the ingredients, everyone, right? But here's the key. They then invented 2 new ways of eating based on these foods with these high levels of nutrition, but low amounts of the quantity of the food. So 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods from around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner with your family from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods. I know you're all struggling with that, thinking, oh my God, I can't have 4 meals a day. Trust me, you can. And they call that 5 days a week, 4 meals a day, they call it protein pacing. This is another thing that we would teach you. It wasn't just how much nutrition they were getting. So for example, it wouldn't work if you did 2 meals a day, for example, because the timing of when the nutrition was spaced out was critically important to make sure the metabolism stayed high. You got that, everybody? 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. In those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods. But listen to this, everybody. They had her eating 8 times a day. She was basically eating every hour and a half. These small amounts, quantity of food, but large amounts of nutrition. Well, look what happened. That's not Photoshop. 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days with no exercise. At the end of in all their cases, they measured water. Nobody lost water weight. And instead of anybody losing an ounce of lean muscle mass with no exercise, they weren't allowed to exercise. They actually wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. They all gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise. Now are you interested? And look at this. This is my friend's daughter. How about 60 pounds in 3 months? But look at the transformation in her body, in her face, her arms. It's not Photoshop. She didn't have surgery. That's real. A lot of people, I think on this podcast, someone come on. Well, why did you put a different woman in the same dress? See, that just proves my point. It's so out of the norm, and that's the sad part. Most people won't even. We've provided you with a free medical website right above your head in blue, the new health conversation. You type it in Google, no spaces. And the only thing there is the medical proof, including an interview with the #1 nutrition weight loss physiologist in the world. And he'll tell you, they will never recommend to any of their patients any diet ever again. They said it would be unethical because and they don't sell anything. They don't have any products. So they don't have a vested interest to try and convince you to buy Because you're buying food. That's what you're doing, but not from us. Isn't that cool? So I'd love some reaction to that. I need to lose 40 pounds. Elegant Beauty Salon. What's your opinion on Mounjaro? Well, let me talk to you about the shots in general, Natalie. Want to join what I have to do? Okay, so Elegance Beauty or DJ or Dean Lewis, any of you, I would love that. Please go to see the website right above her head in blue, the New Health Conversation. Please, Elegance or anybody else, give me a yes, because it's important that you understand. Some people said they couldn't read it, it was blurry. So I just want to make sure you understand. That's a free medical website, okay? Now let me deal with who's asking me about Mounjaro. Here, let me see, who is that? Can we exercise? Yes, you can definitely exercise, yes. So are there these exercises? There are only on the first 48 hours of your intermittent nutritional fast, because on this you do intermittent nutritional fasting every week until you get to your goals. Okay, just so you understand. But yes, you absolutely can exercise, no problem. But someone has asked me about Mounjaro. So here's the New England Journal of Medicine. It's actually on semaglutide, but it's one of the GLP-1s. Now again, I'm not against the shots. They're helping diabetics and people who are morbidly obese. But let's compare the actual medical findings, like what was the real weight loss? What did they really find? So New England Journal of Medicine, you all can look this up. Once weekly semaglutide in adults overweight and obese. In 68 weeks, the weight loss in the study published in the public domain was 32 pounds, and 40% of the 32 pounds was lean muscle mass. Well, let's compare that to Kristen, 21 pounds in a month. Or when you look at Curtis, he didn't get the memo, I don't think. He lost 40 pounds in a month. Now, you can do whichever one you want to do. What Curtis is doing is completely natural. It's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. I said before, most women on this with no exercise, if you exercise even better, they lose a whole dress size in 7 days. Men are losing 2 to 4 inches off their waist, typically in a week. And in a month's time, people, instead of losing any lean muscle, were gaining 6 to 9% lean muscle, losing no water weight. But you know what the biggest thing that they all said? They said they could not believe the way they felt. I was just on earlier today with a realtor in Denver who's been on the protocol now for almost a year and a half. And a year and a half ago, she was spending $2,000 a month on supplements. And anyway, she was just telling me today, I can't even believe the way I feel. The problem with, okay, so you're vegan, you're using butterfly pea as part of your protein, just to clarify for me? No, you're wrong, Char 44. Look at that. Or look at, that's 35 pounds in 37 days. Where's the loose skin? No, you don't understand. On this, as a matter of fact, to prove to you, Char 44, if you go to the website, there's a before and after part. There are people, men and women, lost 100 pounds, no loose skin. See, you're trying to compare this to a diet. It's not a diet. Okay, this is revolution. It's going to change the world. It's going to change everything you ever thought about diet, exercise, and nutrition. So you're 100% right if it was a diet, which it's not. But look at her. Why doesn't she have loose skin there? Or wait a minute, how about my friend's daughter? 60 pounds. Where's the loose skin on her arms or her stomach? Look at her face. No, it's the same woman. It's not a different. People accuse me of, why did you get a different person in the same dress? No, it's the same person. So I appreciate those comments. So again, what do you think of butterfly pea? No, see, again, Char 44, it's not a diet, okay? It isn't. And what we have that nobody else has is peer-reviewed human trial medical studies proving that this is safe. And they measured muscle mass, okay? And men and women with no exercise gained 6 to 9% lean muscle mass in a month, and no one was allowed to exercise. Now, if you want, now you talk about weight loss. Look at this. How about 200 pounds in less than a year? Where's the loose skin, my good friend, Char 44? Where's the loose skin? No surgery, no tricks. Look at that. Oh, you can think it's fake. And you can stay on diets that don't work, that are going to break your heart, where the majority of what you're losing on any diet is lean muscle mass. But what do you all think about that? Hello, DJJ. So DJJ, do you understand right above her head there in blue, the New Health Conversation? You can go and see all the medical proof right there. Also, for all of you, this was on the cover. I've got it right here. It was on the cover of Women's World, June 9th edition. I coached both of these women, a mom and a daughter. The daughter's a nurse. She's 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, 80, lost 90 pounds in 9 months, and they both have kept it off now for over 3 years. That's pretty good, right? See, please don't try to compare this to diets. It's not a diet. It doesn't work like that. Diets are miserable failures. I mean, there's so many studies now saying, well, let me read to some of the people coming on late. Here's Medicare talking about diets. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The Medicare researchers reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether dieting is an effective treatment for obesity. The studies show that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet we studied. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. That's Medicare telling you diets don't work. So when you try to compare this to diets, which would be natural because that's what you know, it's not a diet. So who else would like to ask me a question? So again, Kay, Renee, I'm not sure about butterfly pea. Are we talking about a protein that you take to try and lose weight? Are you a vegan? Excuse me, I guess that is the first thing. If I don't choke to death, it's because I'm so dry because I've been talking too much today. So what do you think of butterfly pea? If you'll put the follow-up for me, I'll answer it because I'm going to close out that because obviously I'm losing my voice. So I answered the Monjero question, I think, for everybody. Are you eating it are you a vegan? That's all I want to know. Because I'm not familiar with butterfly pea, so I'm not going to give you an opinion on something I'm not familiar with, but more the question would be, are you a vegan? Because we obviously have a vegan version of this, or the researchers do, not us. We didn't invent anything. We're just sharing the information with you. So, Kay, Renee, are you a vegan? I'm curious. I'm not trying to be nosy, but it's important. No, I'm not. Okay. I'll be happy to look up, but I can't do it right in the middle of this. And now you have me curious. I will take a look at it. But Kay, Renee, what you have to understand is that there's no equivalent to this on the planet. No one's ever seen these kind of weight results. And when you look at the medical, like when you look at, I mean, what do you think about that? He's an older guy, 40 pounds, 52 inches in a month, and look at the change in his blood work from his A1C 8.4 to 6.4, triglycerides from 242 to 124. That is in 30 days, Kay Renee, 30 days with no exercise. Look at his stomach, how much it went down. I know it sounds hard to believe. And Kay Renee, are you looking to lose weight? Do you want more energy? Because we don't know anything about you. That's why we offer free coaching. So the coaching is free the whole time, not just initially, not just the initial consultation. It's 100% free. Because we got kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91 years old who's actually the sister of the mom in this article. And her sister now at 91 is now playing, she's doing taekwondo, believe it or not. It's not a diet. It's about maximizing it's really more, how would I describe it? I call it a quality of life health system. Because it's not really, the weight loss is, to us, it's a booby prize. That's going to happen anyway. It's all the other things that can happen to you. I could lose 30. Okay, well, how excited would you be if you lost 20 pounds in the first month, Kay Renee? How much would that excite you? By the way, she had about 35 pounds to lose. That's why it's a good example for you to see that. Kay Renee, are you stunned? Please give me a comment. I'd love to know what you think about that. It is real, Kay Renee. It's not photoshopped. It's real. So would you be unhappy if you were down 20 pounds at the end of 30 days? Listen, 30 pounds, you probably would lose it in 6 weeks or less. I'm not kidding you. Without exercise. If you exercise, you might even lose it faster. Because it's too bad you weren't on yesterday. Well, no. But yesterday we had a woman on. She was on day 23, okay? Day 23, Renee. She's lost 22 pounds in 23 days. Isn't that crazy? Yes, H177, the coaching is 100% free, not just the consultation, but all the way through, and then teaching you how to maintain. For all of you, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept it up for 23 years. I got coached. I didn't have any idea how to do this. even though I'm a nutritional researcher for 23 years, 4 best-selling books, 20 shows on PBS. I had no clue how to do this. Yes, so the coaching, age 77, Spunky, 100%, no gimmicks, no tricks, 100% coaching is free the whole time through. Because look, age 77, our whole goal is not just to get the weight off you, but teach you how to keep it off for the rest of your life. But again, age 77, how excited would you be if you could lose 20 pounds in the first month? You know what most people do on this, men and women, in the first 4 days, they typically lose as much weight as on any diet you've ever been on in a month. Can you imagine the motivation that gives you to keep going? How much would that motivate you, K. Renee or H177? HK Renee, yeah, visit the site, and also H177, visit the site. If you like what you see, get a coach and see if you want to do it. It's that simple. They will not try to sell you. They will not try to convince you. Got it? Do you got it? All right, well, we're an hour and 10 minutes. Thank you, H177, and thanks all of you for liking. We're at 3,700 likes. That's great for an hour and 10-minute thing. And I want to invite you, implore you, excite you. Go to the website. It's free and we won't contact you. You are in complete control. But don't you, K. Renee, I know you're going there, or H177, don't you owe it to yourself to explore real medical proof that could change the rest of your life? It's not about your weight. It's all the other health improvements that can occur. Does that make sense to all of you? Yeah, great. Okay, everybody, I'm going to end this. And tomorrow I'll probably be on around noon Eastern time, just to let you know. Noon Eastern time, okay?